Okay, you want to have a look at this idea of a factor and what exactly is a factor. So a factor is just a number that divides into another number evenly. So let's have a look at the factors of 20. So the first number that divides into 20, well 1 will always divide into 20. 2 is a factor of 20, it divides in evenly. 4 is another factor of 20, 5 is a factor of 20, and 10. So they're the whole numbers that divide evenly into the number 20. So we say that they are the factors of 20. What about if we do another one? What are the factors of, let's say, 100? So what are the numbers that divide evenly into 100? So 1 is always a factor. 2 is a factor of 100. 4 is a factor of 100. These numbers all divide into 100. 5 is a factor of 100. We would say 10 is a factor of 100. 20 is a factor of 100, and 50 is a factor of 100. And then there's always one other one. The number itself is always a factor. So every single one of these numbers, they divide evenly into the number 100. So we say they're factors of 100. Now let's look at, if you look at the factors of 20 and if you look at the factors of 100, you'll notice that there's some common factors. And 10 is the biggest factor that goes into both numbers. So we'd say that the number 10 is the highest common factor. So the highest common factor of 20 and 100 is 10, because 10 is the biggest number that divides into both 20 and 100. So we say it's the highest common factor of 20 and 100. Let's have a look at factors then when we're talking about, say, algebraic expressions. So if we look at the algebraic expression, we want to know what are the factors of, let's say, 10x. So what are the factors of 10x? So what divides evenly into 10x? So, okay, 1 is always a factor. 1 divides evenly into 10x. So what do I multiply? If 1 divides evenly, then I must be able to multiply it by something to get 10x, and 10x times 1 will give me 1. So 1 is a factor. 2 is also a factor of 10x, because 2 into 10x goes 5x times. 2 multiplied by 5x will give me 10x. 3, 4, 5 is a factor of 10x. We could say 10 is a factor of 10x, because 10 divides evenly into 10x. 2x is also a factor, because if I multiply 2x by 5, I'll get 10x. X is a factor, because x times 10 will give me 10x. 5x is a factor. So these are all the factors of 10x. So 5x divides evenly into 10x. 5x multiplied by 2 gives me 10x. And 10x is a factor. So these are all the factors of 10x. Then if we have a look, say, let's have a look at another one. Let's say, what are the factors of, say, 10x squared? So we want the factors of 10x squared. So it's almost the same. So again, 1 is a factor of 10x squared. 2 will be a factor of 10x squared. It divides evenly. 2 multiplied by 5x squared will give me 10x squared. 5 is a factor. 10 is a factor. We could go x is a factor, because x multiplied by 10x will give me 10x squared. We could say that 2x is a factor, 5x is a factor. 5x multiplied by 2x will give me 10x squared. 10x is a factor. And then we can look at the squared factors, because x squared is a factor. X squared times 10 will give me 10x squared. 2x squared is a factor, because 2x squared times 5 will give me 10x squared. 5x squared, because 5x squared by 2 will give me 10x squared. And the last one, 10x squared is a factor, because 10x squared by 1 will give me 10x squared. So these are all of the factors of 10x squared. What about if we had something like 10x cubed? Let's say 5x cubed. So the factors of 5x cubed, all of the numbers that divide evenly into 5x cubed. So 1 is always a factor. 5 would be a factor, because 5 multiplied by x cubed will give me 5x cubed. What would be the other factors? So x is a factor, because what do I multiply x by to get 5x cubed? Well, if I multiply x by 5x squared, I'll get 5x cubed. So x is a factor. 5x would be a factor, because 5x by x squared will give me 5x cubed. We could also have x squared as a factor, because x squared multiplied by 5x will give me 5x cubed. And 5x squared is a factor. And then the last one would be 5x cubed. Well, no, actually there's one more, because x cubed is also a factor, because 5x cubed by 1 will give me 5x cubed, and x cubed by 5 will give me 5x cubed. So these are all of the factors. So a factor is just a number or an expression that divides evenly into another expression.